Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is Total Television reporting from the World Telecoms Council. I'm pleased to be joined by Mike Rocha, Managing Director of Brand Finance. Now Mike, can you tell me a little bit more about Brand Finance?
Brand Finance is the world's leading independent brand valuation consultancy. We work with our clients to improve shareholder value, maximize shareholder value through the effective management of brands. And we do that with a unique team of people with financial, valuation, marketing and strategy experience. We offer three broad areas of services to our clients: financial valuation of brands for balance sheet reporting, putting brands into brand holding companies. We also value brands for transactions, for M&A and for financing. Finally, we help chief marketing officers with marketing and branding strategy decisions, bringing some financial rigor to decisions like brand architecture, brand extension, portfolio analysis.
Now you've just published a report in association with Total Telecom. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Brand Finance publishes a whole range of reports and rankings into the world's most valuable brands. We publish a Brand Finance Global 500 of the world's most valuable brands in all sectors, and we also produce reports for specific sectors. We have published the Telecoms 500 for the second year in a row now with Total Telecom, and it is our assessment of the most valuable brands globally in the telecom sector.
Now, what key indicators have come out of that report with regard to emerging markets?
The total value of all telecoms brands globally is $445 billion US. Emerging markets brands represent, at this point, $87 billion US of that total value. So, relatively speaking, a low amount, but that figure is expected to grow exponentially over the next few years. In terms of the top 20 brands, we value Vodafone at number one with a value of approximately $29 billion US. China Mobile is the most valuable emerging market brand at number 5, and in total, all three Chinese brands are in the top 20, with the only other emerging market brand being MTN, which just gets into the top 20 at number 20.
Difficult question this, but what are the predictions going forward for emerging markets?
I think there are various key themes that are going to play out over the next few years, particularly as they regard to branding. The first is around regulation. The regulatory environment varies massively between different countries. India being at one end of the spectrum with a huge number of different players, the government sort of restricting takeover and consolidation in the sector, driving costs and driving prices down for consumers at a huge rate, but creating a huge amount of clutter and complexity for consumers, where really branding really comes to the fore in order to help simplify choices for consumers. China is a very sort of different example where the state has very strict controls over players, and really the scene is dominated by Chinese brands. Other markets like Qatar, for example, are just in the early throes of deregulation, with the second mobile license being given to Vodafone to compete with QTEL. And different levels, Qatar, for example, still doesn't have mobile number portability. So I think the impact that brands can have and the role brands can play in these different countries is going to be significantly affected by the regulatory environment. The second issue is brand architecture. So as we move to a more converged world of triple play, brands are increasingly looking to how their brand architecture can align against that new reality. In some countries we have proliferation of convergence brands, and in other areas like O2 and Movistar, for example, Telefonica brands, or Orange, companies are looking to consolidate and reduce the clutter in the space and use a single brand to have a single voice with the consumer, relegating brands like France Telecom and Telefonica to corporate brand status. And the final thing I think is going to be really interesting as the years pan out is frugal innovation. So this is the concept of taking the poorest consumers in society, working out what they need, what they can afford, stripping out all of the unnecessary detail and just stripping the products and services back to bare essentials in order to deliver services and products at a low enough cost, thin margins, but hugely increase the volume that these operating brands can achieve. Bharti Airtel would be one example of a company, an emerging market brand, putting this into practice in terms of outsourcing its IT to IBM, its infrastructure, its technology to Ericsson, and spinning out its towers and masts into a separate listed entity. All Airtel does these days is focus exclusively on its brand and on the relationship with its customers, and it is striving to become a lifestyle enabling brand for its consumers rather than just a telecoms brand, really maximizing the emotional engagement with its consumers in order to create loyalty and reduce churn.
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.